In any truly great story, the setting is way more than just a pretty background. In fact, sometimes the most interesting, most compelling character in a film isn't a person at all. It's the place.
So let me ask you this. Think about your favorite movie for a second. Who's the most important character? Is it the hero, the villain, maybe that scene-stealing sidekick? Go ahead, get a picture of them in your head.
Because what if I told you that a lot of the time, one of the most important characters is actually the setting itself? And that's exactly what we're digging into today. This idea that the place where a story unfolds can have its own personality, it can push the plot forward, and it can symbolize huge ideas just as much as any person on screen. Now, of course, every setting gives you a time and a place. That's a given. But we're going to explore how the really great ones go so much deeper, acting like an unseen character that shapes the entire story from the shadows.
A really powerful setting can do four main things. It can give us incredible insight into a character, it can symbolize a major theme, it can literally move the plot forward, and it can establish the entire mood of a scene. Let's break those down.
So let's kick things off with that first function, how a setting can basically be a direct extension of a character. Think of it as a room with a viewpoint.
I mean, think about it in your own life, right? Your room, your desk at work, your favorite spot to grab coffee. All those places say something about who you are. Well, storytellers use that exact same principle to give us this direct window into a character's mind. And honestly, it's often way more powerful than dialogue. Okay, take a classic like Citizen Kane. Charles Kane's mansion, Xanadu, is just absurdly huge and completely cut off from the world. It's filled with all these pointless trophies he doesn't even care about, which screams that he's lonely and just trying to fill some huge emotional hole. Now compare that to his childhood home, a tiny, cozy cabin. It was warm, it was intimate. Those two places, side by side, tell you the entire tragic story of his life. And it can be more dynamic too. In Lost in Translation, the city of Tokyo actually mirrors how the characters are feeling. In the beginning, when they feel totally isolated and confused, the city is all dark, disorienting close-ups. But as they start to connect with each other and find some clarity, boom, the film starts showing us these clear, bright, wide-open shots of the city. The setting is literally showing us their character development. Okay, but settings can do more than just reflect one person's personality. They can become these massive symbols for the big ideas that drive the whole story. So what we're talking about here is a symbolic setting. It's basically any location that stands in for something much, much bigger than itself. It could be a theme, an abstract concept, or even a critique of society.
And once you start looking for this, you see it everywhere. In Little Miss Sunshine, that whole tacky beauty pageant is a symbol for a really superficial version of the American dream. In Office Space, that soulless cubicle farm represents choosing a steady paycheck over actual happiness. And in so many Vietnam War movies, the jungle itself becomes this perfect symbol for the moral chaos of the world.
A really fantastic example is the island in Life of Pi. Pi washes up on this gorgeous island where, at first, survival seems easy, but then he realizes it's carnivorous, it's toxic. That island symbolizes a super dangerous spiritual choice, the temptation to just stop searching for meaning, to settle for an easy life that will, in the end, completely consume you. And Pi himself says it perfectly. I saw how my life would end if I stayed on that island, alone, forgotten. The island is this temptation he has to overcome. So when he leaves, it's not just a physical journey, it's him rejecting the spiritual emptiness that place represents.
So, settings can be a window into a character's soul, and they can symbolize huge ideas. But they also have two very, very practical jobs: pushing the plot forward and controlling the emotional mood of the film.
A setting can literally force the plot to happen. It can trap characters on a deserted island or stick them in an elevator together. And what happens? Well, it forces them to talk to each other, to make choices they never would have made otherwise. And just like that, the story moves forward, all because of where they are. And finally, there's mood. Every single setting is designed to make you feel a certain way. The tricks are pretty universal. Heavy shadows and contrast create a sense of mystery. A high camera angle looking down gives a feeling of power, while a low angle looking up from the dirt makes a character feel helpless. Even something like lightning can signal pure terror, or if you're in a comedy, it can be a total punchline. So, let's bring this all home. It's pretty clear that settings are so much more than just scenery. They are an active, living, breathing part of the story. The big takeaway here is that we really need to start reading the settings just like we read the characters. They show us who a person is on the inside, they embody the story's main ideas.
They can physically push the plot along, and they set the emotional stage for everything we see. At the end of the day, just because a setting is in the background, it doesn't mean it's not speaking to us. It's giving us just as much meaning, symbolism, and story as any living, breathing character on that screen. So, I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you're watching a film, try looking past the people in the foreground for a minute. Pay attention to the rooms they live in, the cities they walk through, the landscapes they cross, and ask yourself, what is the setting telling me?